Jam on toast!
Ohio gozaimasu. Welcome to the Jam. Kemo des. And today the toast is to Eden of the East. Now this includes the anime series and the 2 movies. This is a response to SourcefedNerd's Anime Club. Go ahead and click here to see the last thing Meg made Ross watch to torture him, because apparently he deserves it. Found a kitty! So the short tell on this one is that 12 people have been selected to save Japan as a country by being given 10 billion yen and being told to do whatever they want with it. The goal being to save the country. We follow Sao number 9, Takizawa. Even if he starts naked with a gun and a cell phone in Washington, D.C. and no memories. As much as I like a media res, my favorite thing about this one was just all the weird, awkward moments. The fact that he starts naked with a pistol and a phone in Washington, D.C. The 20,000 naked meets. The fact that there's one guy that's closed kind of walking through him. And it's not the weird anime things where like her eyes go gray and they do all the anime emoticon type things. But just the generally weird things, like if it was a real life movie, it would still be weird. My hate for this one is that Joyce is the sonic screwdriver of this universe. Later on, they get into some of her restrictions, but it's generally a catch-all to do whatever you want, and that's part of the point of the game. MVP for this show is Saki. Takizawa on his own is kind of an amazing character to ridiculous proportions, but Saki is much more of a real type character, and she helps ground him in a lot of things and keeps him motivated. So without her, I think this story kind of falls apart pretty quickly, because who knows what he would have done with it, especially without remembering that he's a Celestial. All the categories. Aesthetics. This is a great looking anime. It's got some CG, what I call digital cell animation, where it's just CG recreated cell animation. And I don't find it jarring. I actually find it really smooth and I like it, and I really like that type of cell animation. I want to see more of that as the future continues, and I think we're going to see a lot less of hand-drawn. It's going to turn into like a classic medium. Aesthetics is the 92. Character development. Because we start with immediate res, a lot of the show is character development, because he doesn't remember who he is through most of the series and the movies. He's still discovering things. You have an adventure built into the story the entire time because he's trying to figure things out. He's trying to figure this out. All the time he's being forced into this game, so he's trying to figure out who Mr. Outside is, what he's supposed to be doing as a Celestial, what the other Celestial are doing. Is someone trying to kill him? Is he supposed to be going after somebody else? Does he have to rescue his friends? Do his friends need help doing this or that or whatever? What about these 20,000 naked guys that show up? Oh my god! Character development gets a 90. Storyline. It's a decent story. The idea is kind of stock at this point, but it's done really well as far as I can tell. I like the involvement with Eden of the East and their group of programmers and panties. Bringing all them into the mix really helps make this something, because if it's just him running around his own, you basically have a Jason Statham movie. Storyline gets an 85. This is a really fun anime. It gets worse, I think, as it goes on. I don't really think it needed 1 movie, let alone 2. I was kind of happy where the series ended, but they do 2 more movies, and there's decent storyline there, and it progresses, and it's more of the same good stuff. By all means, watch all of it. Just probably not shotgun it, because doing the series in one shot is one thing, but when you tack on 2 movies, maybe you're pushing it. Propulsion gets an 85. Now when you total all that up, you get an average of 88. For my wrap-up review, I really gotta say, I don't know what it is about a lot of anime, but the longer it goes, regardless of how compelling the beginning is, it just seems to get old and boring, and I think part of it is the novelty aspect. Because some of these things are like, wow, I never would have thought of that. That's really neat. Let's find out more. And as you find out more, the novelty wears off, and you're like, well, this is the same garbage just done with a gimmick, and who cares? This is about halfway through that door, because this is a neat aspect, and this is something I haven't seen executed this way before. So despite that little conversation, this is actually a really good anime. It's fun. Maybe not all in one go again, but I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's interested in neat ideas for stories. And like usual, once you get to the point where you're like, I'm not having fun, turn it off. That way, if you want to come back to it, you can, because it's not bad at any point. It's just a question of how not as good as I thought it was going to be, it is. I really like the idea of trying to save the country and bettering humanity through these means. By all means, you should have a lottery plan. Go ahead, if you don't mind sharing, put your lottery plan in the comments if you want to jump in with that. But that's it for me. I'm Camerai. Have a nice day. If you want to see anything else we're up to, go ahead and click the annotations, and they'll take you to our other channels.